So almost every one of us want to serve the society, help the society. Do you think there is something different in the people who actually execute those things?
Brilliant question. See, the point is like this, that on one hand there is truth and on the other hand there is evil. So there is justice and there is injustice. There is right and there is wrong. So many of us may want to do right. Many of us may want to believe that let's try and remove injustice. But many of us also, by just having that thought that we want to remove the injustice, by just having that thought that someday we will do right, pacify themselves and feel at least मैंने सत्य के बारे में सोचा, किया नहीं. The difference is in that finally, are you truly following up on that thing? Are you truly following up on that thing? You go to various hostels. I mean, I'm different. You will see it in the JMC hospital even now. People are young and people are enthusiastic and they feel nahi hum log society mein kuch na kuch karenge. It's like that Satyanarayan Puja. I will do the puja after the marriage. I will do the puja after the childbirth. I will do the puja. Finally, you don't do it. So that thought remains just a thought. And you pacify yourself thinking that I did the right thing. Somebody sends you an email and says that, Arey, I saw this guy on the road. Can you help him out? I reply. I said, see, here it is very simple. You go to the nearby police station. Tell them that you have received acknowledgement on email from Shraddha. Take help of an ambulance. Take help of the police. And send the patient to Kartar. We'll take the patient. Nobody does it. So their role of society is limited to the fact that can you take a quick shot and claim that, oh, I'm feeling very bad that he's on the road and not followed up. This is the bulk of society. This is the bulk of society. Unless that attitude is changed. So I have not refused him on email. I have not told him no. All that I have done is I have told him to be a little bit more proactive and go to the nearby police station, take help of an ambulance. Supposing he says I'm poor and I cannot afford the ambulance. I tell him, look boss, I'll pay for the ambulance. Don't worry. Let the ambulance come to Kartar to the patient. I'll pay. But he doesn't do it. Therein lies the difference between the majority of the people and those others who want to follow that path. Supposing it was your son, supposing it was your daughter, supposing it was your father, supposing it was your mother, would you have left the person on the road? Would you have just taken a shot and sent it? Therein lies the difference. So you can't consider it, true social work begins when you believe that that guy is equal to you. That guy is related to you. I mean, Baba Amte is crying profusely on seeing somebody who is not related to him. So why can't you go that one step forward? What is the difference? Supposing your kid is there and he's having, we have so many cases over here who come with medical complications. We try and solve those medical complications before the reunion. Try and get him the best of treatment. Try and put the anti-diabetic drugs in place. Try and put the antihypertensives in place. The question is not of reuniting. What would you do if your son, your daughter, your mother, your father had mental illness and had these comorbidities? Would you not do the right thing? You would. So why is there that difference? Therein lies the difference between work which is done till the last mile and work which is just left out and just spoken about. Hundreds, thousands, lakhs of people are speaking about good work and this and that and pacifying their conscience. I could have very easily done it at the time when the Daisar Maramari took place. I could have very easily said, look, I tried my best. I had a fundraising art exhibition, everything. Why should I do further? So ultimately, when you look at a guy on the road, you feel, or at least I feel, that there, but for the grace of God, go I. There, but for the grace of God, go I. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could have been him. It is us. And nobody is doing anything for that person. Perhaps because of lack of awareness, perhaps because of the fact that there are fewer psychiatrists or whatever, and nobody is doing anything for that person on the road. Perhaps because of cultural issues, they are getting a little scared of doing something for that person, whatever. So this becomes a very specific segment wherein the people are wandering on the road. We have just now got a lady who's with us. She is from Uttar Pradesh. We have found 28,500 on her in person. Now 28,500 can take you by flight from here to Uttar Pradesh, but she is not able to use it. She doesn't have the money. She doesn't have the intelligence. Her intelligence and her cognitive functioning is compromised because of mental illness. So that is the tragedy. You come across somebody who is wearing 4 bangles here and 4 bangles here, worth 4 lakhs. But the person doesn't have the cognitive facility to go from the road back to the home. You can't have something more tragic than this. And the same guy improves. And the same guy turns out to be a chartered accountant. And the same guy turns out to be a doctor. We have picked up an MD guy from Bombay who was MD from Delhi. That is life. We have picked up a guy who has cleared his ICWA from the roads. Prakash Gokhale. He was with us for a very long time. He used to often put up the flag during the Independence Day. He died in our center because of malignancy. So you have somebody who's brilliant. I have got a guy who's done civil engineering from VJTI. His relatives left, one of the earliest patients that we have picked up. His relatives left without kind of giving a forwarding address or whatever. He's still with us. He's a civil engineer from VJTI. Such is life. So that brings you to that basic fact that what made him over there and what made you over here. It's pure simple luck. So that inequality which Baba Sahib Ambedkar has spoken about is the truth of life. Is somebody doing anything about that inequality? Are we truly attempting to help out and reach out and bridge that inequality? We are not. I'll tell you something, like Manmohan Singh came up with that idea of Indian Institute of Science Education Research, ISER. It was supposed to focus on pure sciences. My daughter also passed out from them. Now the question is, first of all, to get in, you need some degree of intelligence and some degree of brains. You have gotten. After that, what do the majority of the people do? They go abroad. So intelligence is being drained in bulk. While you are the blessed few. You are that 5% of society which had the brains, which had the intelligence, which could get into ISER and come out of it. But where did it all go? It went abroad because you're looking at your own future. You're not looking at the future of the country. You're not looking at the 95% who didn't have that thing. You'll be surprised. The number of Indian psychiatrists in UK are more than the number of Indian psychiatrists in India. The number of Indian psychiatrists in US are more than the number of Indian psychiatrists in India. So you have a dearth of psychiatrists in India while people have gone abroad. Therein lies the fact that the bulk of us don't want to do something about this inequality. We may write whatever we want to once we are there. We may pass comments on WhatsApp and Instagram and this and that, India is doing this, India is doing that. My heart bleeds for India. Actually, it doesn't. If it was to bleed, you could have remained over here. You could have been the psychiatrist in Baba Amte's place. You could have been the psychiatrist anywhere else. I remember Prakash Amte once offered me that why don't we open up a center for the wandering mentally ill either in Anandvan or in Hemalkasa. I said, sir, I can't cope up. If there is another psychiatrist, I can guide him. But the truth is, no other psychiatrist came forward. If I had my way, there would be centers all over India to do all this. But are there committed psychiatrists who are ready to come forward and do it? Very few. It's only now, perhaps, in the last couple of years that people have started showing interest. I remember a young psychiatrist told me, I'm very interested in charitable work, this, that. I said, you want to join? He said, yeah, I desperately want to join. I said, what is the salary you are expecting? He said, 2 lakhs a month. Now, if 2 lakhs a month, according to him, was for a DPM pass guy, if 2 lakhs a month, according to him, was doing charity, I'm wondering what the hell was his expectation. Such is life. So you have to realize, vice versa, he continued. The way he spoke with me on the phone, I'm very interested in charitable work. I can't tell you what a socially minded guy I am. That is a duplicity of thought. That deep down you want to believe yourself that you are interested in social work, you feel very badly for those people on the road, but honestly, you don't want to do anything. Unless that changes, to some extent, we remain where we are. The blessed few enjoying our blessedness.
So after hearing you, I can totally understand why people often say that who have learned the power of sincere and faithful contribution actually experiences the life's deepest joy and like true fulfillment. I can totally understand while looking towards you.
You said it. I mean, one of the couple of cases which have moved me a lot. I remember way back 1991, we had picked up somebody. And in those days there was no mobile, nothing. So that guy improved. When he improved, he gave me his address. I shot off a letter. That address was of Poonch. Poonch is in Kashmir. So I letter भेज दिया. बात निकल गया. Patient was still with us. Suddenly, 2 weeks later, my ward boy told me, अरे सर बाहर है ना एक आर्मी वाला आया है. मेरा हालत खराब है ना, आर्मी वाला लेना देना क्या है, फुल यूनिफॉर्म. सर बाहर वो आया हुआ है, ही से डॉक्टर भरत वतवानी को मिलने गया है. मैं बोला मैं तो किसको मारा भी नहीं, आर्मी इज आउटसाइड माई डोर. सो आई कॉल्ड हिम इन. वी हैड दैट स्मॉल 2-room nursing home. That guy came inside, full uniform, young guy, dashing, you know how army guys are. He came and he saluted me. I said, sir, क्या हुआ? Maybe you have come on to the wrong place. He said, you're Dr. Bharat Vatwani? I said, yes. He again saluted me. I said, sir, बोलो तो सही क्या हुआ? He said, sir, you sent a letter. That letter is my brother. That guy whom you have got with you is my brother. He said, I'm a Muslim. Now my brother, when he disappeared, first of all, we thought that he had been killed by the Pakistani people. So our whole family was in grief. कि अपना भाई मर गया. Because we are staying on that border. By chance वो भटक गया होगा और पाकिस्तान के अंदर मर गया होगा. My fellow other army people felt that that guy must have become a traitor. So everybody would look at me and say, देखो वो family जा रही है traitors की. So I was surrounded on one side by grief, by pain, that अपना बंदा मर गया. And on the other hand, by ostracization, that नहीं इसका भाई देखो traitor है. And you have sent me a letter saying that he's alive. So एक salute तो बनता है. That, I mean, that thought, you know, that you could do this for a family who was going through so much pain for no reason, for no this. अभी पुंछ में क्या है, जानकारी कम हो गई, awareness is very less. He may have never got the patient treated, you know, all these. That made me feel, my God, what we are doing is right here. What we are doing is good. Let's continue doing it. Another case was, you know, we had this female who was with us. We treated her, sent her. Her name was Aarti. My social worker's name was also Aarti. So they went to Madhya Pradesh, Hoshangabad. She was missing from the house. Young girl, maybe 25 or whatever. Young girl. She was missing from the house for 4 years. That mother, that parents, my social worker showed me the photos. Those parents had not changed the curtain of the house for the last 4 years. They had not done the repair work of the house. In the room where she slept, if the pen was in a particular position, they had just dusted below it and kept the pen in the same position. They had kept all her dresses in that same position for 4 solid years. On the hope that when she comes back, she should recognize her room. Oh boy. When she comes back, she should recognize her room. Not a single thing had been changed. I mean, everything was like how a young girl leaves her room in clutter. Na? I said that whole clutter was exactly as is, where is. And she said, no, unless the daughter comes, I'll not touch it. And then, after the reunion, she took both her child and my social worker. The Hoshangabad is right next to the Narmada river. She took both of them. और शाम के वक्त उसने वो लोटस लीफ में एक दिया डाल करके she made her daughter and my social worker put it into the river. Oh boy, that was nirvana. I mean, my social worker, when she came back, you know, and I came for the round of the next day, she came, rushed to me and hugged me. She said, sir, आपने ये मौका दिया, जिंदगी में ऐसा मौका नहीं मिलेगा. I mean, she hugged me and she went on crying, my social worker, and was so thrilled with that thing, you know, that sir, क्या बताऊं, क्या हो गया. That emotion, you know, that you could do that, takes you forward, and you feel, oh my God, this is something. So once you have reached that level of joy, I mean, after that you feel, अरे यार award मिले नहीं मिले क्या कोई मायने नहीं रखता है. Man, that social worker hugging me, literally hugging and going on crying, sir क्या बताऊं, गजब हो गया, just too much. I have a social worker outside, by the way, one Aditi schedule. She was in Garware College in Pune. So she and 4 of her friends came down for a 1-month training. They came down, they were all 5 Maharashtrians. There was an elderly lady, Alzheimer's disease. So they somehow bonded with this lady. Abhi Alzheimer's address milne ka chance kam hai. The lady said, I am from Malad. Now Malad is a huge place, but 20 lakh population. So they said, sir, hum log kuch kare kya? Abhi somehow I got that feeling ki, 5 of them are there. It is very easy to say, they may get demoralized easily. So I said, you do one thing. All the 5 of you, take the ambulance, no other patient, my driver, go early in the morning, go to Malad and try your best. They went. Abhi mera OPD chalu tha private. I was busy in my own work. Suddenly on the WhatsApp at 4 o'clock in the evening, सुबह ये लोग गए हैं इधर से, 4 o'clock in the evening, there's an image of a small temple which you get in the houses, छोटा मंदिर जैसा रहता है ना, उसके सामने एक दिया लगा हुआ है. So I didn't get the meaning of that. Then later on, that girl rang me up, one of their classmates, and she said, sir, that diya has been lit in that house by the son of that Alzheimer's lady, saying that जब तक मेरी माँ वापस नहीं आएगी तब तक दिया नहीं बुझेगा. And for 4 months the diya was on. For 4 months, day and night, that diya was on. That takes you to a different level altogether. That is something which you can only experience. I mean, those 5 students, when I came back next day, they were like gaga. He said, sir, what an opportunity, what an opportunity. Then finally, this girl, she did her MSW and she joined us only. So one instance makes you change, and that thing keeps on changing. One fine Sunday morning, I won't be surprised if she gets the Ramon Magsaysay Award, because that incident changed her. And like I said, Vinoba Bhave is one of my mentors. Vinoba Bhave said that a photo of a Ganpati or any Lord no longer remains a photo if that family has invested energy in it. And I could sense that, because this family had invested that so much energy into just those few photos and just that diya burning, that moment, then it is no longer a photo. It has got reverberations of its own. You could get the hang of that sentence which he has written, that such is life. And they had faith. Small house in a chawl, and the diya is on here for 4 months. Ki meri maa mil jaye bas. And they got it. So then everything connects. Then that what you read about Vinoba Bhave, that connects. What you have read about with Baba Saheb Ambedkar, that connects. What you have read about Rabindranath Tagore, that connects. And what Baba Ambedkar told you, that connects. That at the end of the day, in that whole journey is destined to get you that one single moment of joy, which will supersede everything in the face of your earth. You can't get better than that. And I could sense it. I don't know what were her plans when she came as a routine student for training. But now she has taken to social work. All the 5 students, if I go to Pune for any talk, all the 5 students make it a point and come. They remember that one single incident. Sir, wo ek din tha hame yaad hai. And that family hugging us. That takes you to the next level. And you realize, oh, there is something, something was destined, something was written. This is your destiny. This is your destiny. And you have to take it forward. You go on taking it forward, go on taking it forward, go on taking it forward. That's how the thing moves. These are the moments. We somebody said, from where do you get the energy to what are you doing? You are doing it because of the tremendous joy. It's uncalculated. It is undescribable. It is so powerful a thing. I'm very close to this point. That finally, why is a person doing what is he doing? Is he doing it because he wants a Padma Shri? Is he doing it because he wants a Ramon Magsaysay Award? Is he doing it because he wants recognition from the Indian Psychiatric Association? No. That person, a true social worker, is doing it because you believe that is the right thing to do, and it gives you tremendous joy. You know, we have another social worker, Farzana Ansari. You'll meet her. So we are connected with Mother Teresa's homes. So in Baikala, next to JJ, there is that Ashadan. So we used to regularly go there. She went there. Abhi elderly lady, 75 plus, Maharashtrian. I don't know what happened, Salah. She somehow connected with this Farzana. And Farzana connected with her. And she said, Mala ghari jaiche hai. Abhi imagine, in the day of WhatsApp, in the day of connectivity, she didn't bother to ask me. Suddenly वो फीमेल को उसने उठाया, एम्बुलेंस में डाला, लेके आया इधर. अरे यार, I came 2 days later, this female is asthmatic, धाड़, उसका respiration rate fast है, उसका pulse fast है, मेरा हालत खराब हो गया. बोला, who brought this? तो she said, sir, मैं लाया. Hey, what happened? She said, she's relevant and she wants to go home. I said, yaar, abhi hum, actually it's a standing rule that we don't pick up medically unwell patients because I'm a psychiatrist, we don't have medical facility. So that RMO was there at that time, one Nilesh Matre, he's my RMO. So he saw the pallor on my face. He's saying, sir, you don't worry, मैं इसका asthma ठीक कर दूँ. He's a homeopathic guy, that is the best part of the whole. He said, no, I manage a lot in villages and all. Don't worry, we'll manage. I said, okay, you manage. They managed. 15 days, that lady was literally between life and death. आज नेबुलाइज किया तो वापस नेबुलाइज किया तो वापस ऑक्सीजन वापस नेबुलाइज. Went on. But that lady held on. And if I would come for the round, she would hold my cheeks in her hand and say, Mala ghari jaiche. That just too much. So you become attached. And then one day she became okay. When the moment she became okay, we took up an ambulance, nebulizer डाला, सब कुछ डाला, oxygen cylinder, गांव भेज दिया, शोलापुर. She reached. Now supposing, I just think that supposing hypothetically, I was to die and supposing I was to meet a God and God was to ask me, what did you do yaar in your whole life? I would say, yaar, ye 3-4 cases to kuch kiya yaar. We reunited that lady in Balad. We reunited that lady in Hoshangabad. कहीं ना कहीं पर एक छोटा सा spark है यार. It is not much. I am also a human being, but we did that. So that thing, that it touched that aspect of your conscience that you felt that what you were doing was good and what you were doing was correct. That takes you forward.
Sir, trust me, you really deserve a big salute. Like, who does such selfless work unless it is a legend like you? So, sir, मतलब पैसा तो चाहिए, तो किसी भी चीज़ को पूरा करने के लिए पैसा तो चाहिए. So, how you dealt with the difficulties in raising funds and all these things? Did you face any difficulty?
Yeah, I did face difficulty. There was a time in 2008 or 2010 when we were thinking of shutting down the female center also. But by the grace of God, I have a decent private practice of my own, I and my wife. We used to contribute earlier a lot of funds. We are simple people, our needs are not high. So, but yes, difficulties are faced. But again, the idea is that whether if you want to continue, then you continue to the best of your ability. At the end of the day, picking up one person, like supposing I'm in a general talk, I and the social workers have decided, नहीं, अभी अपने पास पैसा नहीं, आज के बाद एक हफ्ता पेशेंट उठाएगा ही नहीं. And suddenly my wife comes across the patient or the social worker comes across, they pick up the patient. Finally, the question is that if you follow your heart, that following of heart has always taken precedence over the following of what is logic and what your brain is dictating. And touch wood, then the God sees from above. Finally, एक patient को उठाया तो you tell me honestly, कितना पैसा जाता है यार? उसको finally एक दाल रोटी देना है, एक थोड़ा सब्जी डालने का है, गाड़ी चल पड़ी, 2 मेडिसिन देने का है, एक चद्दर देने का है, एक तकिया देने का है, एक बेड देने का है, गाड़ी चल पड़ी. It's not much if you look at it from a different perspective. But people say नहीं अभी मेरा बेटी का शादी बाकी है, अभी मेरा ये बाकी है, अभी एक बार मैं घर बना लूँगा तो मैं पक्का सोशल वर्कर में जाऊँगा. if you go on thinking like that, that is the mind within you speaking, that is the brains within you speaking. You follow your heart. You want to do it, you do it. Unless you develop that thing within yourself. I mean, social worker said, sir, mujhe mil gaya patient. I remember one of my social workers, Dina, he was coming back from Varanasi. He belongs to Varanasi. So, aate next to the toilet in the train, there is a female sitting. Must be 25, 28 years old. This guy is also around 30, 35. He could make out that this is a patient. He put out that female. Though he had no female escort, he put out that female, sorted that she got lunch, sorted he gave her dinner, finally told the entire compartment what he's doing, finally told everybody that this is a psychiatric patient, finally brought that patient, female from next to the toilet and made her sit next to him, and finally called up my staff in Kalyan saying that such and such is in Karjat, saying that I am coming till Kalyan, send an ambulance, and the ambulance was sent. And that patient improved, and that patient went back to Bihar. So at the end of the day, it is just following your heart. And in all this thing, the hallmark of all my staff is that they never bother to inform me. When they are following their heart, they claim that the heart has overcome everything. Let's do it. But that girl was educated from Bihar and went back home. Now, supposing that social worker would not have interfered, imagine he put out the TC also saying that, look, this is a mentally ill person, this is the work that we are doing. He showed the catalog, ye wo. Not a single person obstructed him. And finally the patient was brought. That is following your heart. At that time, you can't stop to think as to what Dr. Bharat Vatwani gave instructions about the financial aspect, ye hai, wo hai, jo hai. They feel कि छोड़ना यार अपने को फाइनली खाना ही देने का ट्रेन में खाना देते देते कल्याण पहुंच जाएंगे कल्याण कैसे पहुंच जाएंगे सर से बाद में बात करते हैं. That is an attitude which society has to create within itself of wanting to do good without necessarily looking at anything else. So these instances take you forward.
Sir, as we know, good team is the backbone of any successful foundation, right? So how did you manage to build this team, and how you come across these people of same mentality?
Good question. It was very difficult initially. Initially, I had only 3 workers who were all 3 from Kerala. A lot of difficult issues. But as word of mouth spread, I mean, initially social workers from Maharashtra were ready to join us. Then social workers from other states. And I guess once they joined the job satisfaction which they got of working on the ground, of creating that awareness, of being respected in society, of people adulating them, kind of took it forward. So if we didn't have that kind of, see, I may be describing whatever I am describing, but at the end of the day, who does the reunion? I am not doing the reunion. It is the social worker who is doing the reunion. And they get that job satisfaction, they get the kick out of it. They are, and then they feel that yes, I have entered the right profession. And they feel that nahi, this job may be better in terms of convenience, but it will never give you the same amount of joy. That, I guess, is the reason why they have stuck on to Shraddha for innumerable years. Some people have left and again rejoined on the grounds that no, we never got the job satisfaction. We may be getting a better salary elsewhere, but we never got that job satisfaction, so they have rejoined.
Sir, we heard that you adopted 3 children. Why did you feel to do so? Can you please elaborate on that?
It's a beautiful question. Ours is a love marriage. I'm a Sindhi, my wife is a Telugu, though she's born and brought up in Pune. Before marriage, we had decided that we will adopt. Perhaps because of the fact that I had gone through a lot of hardships myself. She was also from a middle class background. The moment we got a biological child, within 1 year, we went ahead and adopted a child. So we had decided beforehand that if the biological child is a boy, we'll adopt a girl. If it is a girl, we'll adopt a boy. So our biological child was a girl and we went ahead and adopted a boy. Now this is all not exactly favored by all the relatives. But I mean, I still remember my son, when he came in, we were living in a one-room kitchen, which was rental. And he celebrated his first birthday with us. And we had a small chair, wooden, on which we put that half kilo of cake and cut the cake and celebrated the thing. Again, the question is, somebody could have very easily said that, look, why don't you first have a house of your own and this and that, and once you're settled and then you go ahead for all these processes. But the point is, you wanted to do good, you had decided beforehand. It doesn't take much to feed a child. I mean, again, it's a matter of heart over mind. Now, this was from Mother Teresa's Missionaries of Charity, Ville Parle. So we were so thrilled with that act of adoption that we decided to adopt one more child. So तब तक तो relatives बोला सनक गए हैं लोग का. And we went to Mother Teresa's Ville Parle again. And there was this young girl. So she was there and nobody was picking her up because she had an umbilical hernia and she had some fungal infection and the hair was not there. So, I mean, we are doctors. We immediately picked her up, chose her. And I knew the Mother Teresa's people well, and the paperwork was going to take a long time. So I told the nun, I said, see yaar, aisa paperwork to hote rahega. Now Rakhi is round the corner. Let me take the kid home and let her tie a Rakhi. That was that. Again, it's a question of your own heart, your own emotions over everything else. I mean, touch wood, I was blessed that I met the nuns who actually allowed me to take her home. But we did. Then somewhere along the line, a few years later, I felt that no, yaar, 2 girls, 1 boy, things are not working. Equality basis, gender bias ho raha hai. So then we went ahead and went for a boy. Again, at that time, massive resistance from everybody. And maybe we were also a little shaky or whatever. But we went to the Missionaries of Charity. And there we saw this guy, my youngest kid. So what had happened was that kid, the mother of that kid, was in 2 minds whether to give that child for adoption or not. So in the process, time had passed. And usually parents don't want a child who's 1 year plus or something. The moment we saw him, we were flat. So his name is Karmanya. One is Arjun. My eldest child is Aksha. She is right now faculty in maths. I told you she passed out from ISER and then did a PhD abroad and came back. She is right now faculty in maths in IIT Gandhinagar. My son has done his MA in travel and tourism. My other daughter did her post-graduation in mass entertainment. And she is married and she is in the US. And my youngest son passed out from medical in Amravati. But the point is, this youngest kid was so loving that finally the entire building where I stayed knew of me as Karmanya's father. There was no identity of my own. I was not Dr. Bharat Vatwani, Karmanya's father. So even now where we stay, all the opposite building children, if they fall sick, whatever, they just come in and say, I am Karmanya's friend. So it is taken for granted that I have to treat them, not charge any money. Whether it is a psychiatric problem, non-psychiatric, they never have a psychiatric problem. They come for anything, right from bandage to this to that. I am Karmanya's friend. So that thing has, I mean, people feel we did a good thing or whatever. I feel they did a greater thing by coming into our lives. Because had they not come into our lives would not have changed. Arjun was very good at trekking. I had never trekked in my life. I somehow felt that this guy is good in physical, and we started trekking. So because we started trekking, I did Everest Base Camp twice. I did Kailash Mansarovar once. Best days of my life. Kanika was into music. There is a time when she has played the piano, and I have composed a poem while she has played the piano. That is Jugalbandi. So you get these moments of joy in the so-called giving, which is not actually giving, it is actually receiving. So they have brought their own facets of life into our lives and helped us grow. And like now my daughter who is in the US, she was very fond of dogs, and so in the whole area it is known that if there is any stray dog who is wounded, that person has to be taken to my daughter and she will do the needful. So in the process, now she is in the US. Some neighbors came with a dog and said that abhi iske jo owners and they are not ready to look after her, things are very bad, we heard your daughter is doing, please take the dog. We took the dog. So in the process we have some 3 dogs who are there and some 7 strays who are being fed by us all the time, and anybody anywhere on the road. Now she is in the US, but even then the call comes to me and I have to respond. You are Kanika's father, so you better respond. That is the way it goes. So at the end of the day, it is like I said, we have not given, we have received. Ultimately, that process of giving and receiving, giving and receiving becomes one, with some degree of empathy and some degree of compassion, some degree of decency and some degree of love. Now, I look at it this way, that the Ramon Magsaysay Award was initiated in 1957. The Padma Shri was initiated in 1954. How many of us, do you know who got the award? You don't. Do you know how many people got the Ramon Magsaysay Award before that? You don't. All that existed right from then till today is that decency, is that love, is that humanity, is that emotion between people which takes you forward. I may have given a talk after the Ramon Magsaysay Award at various places. I was called to VJT, I was called by Nasik University. I believe that this is the best talk ever in terms of the job satisfaction it gives me, because I am addressing my alma mater. Oh boy, what a feeling, yeah. I was so thrilled, when suddenly somebody said, "Arey, you are being called for the GMC talk show." Out of this world. It is that emotion which takes you forward. It's that feeling of connecting. So we connected with the children connected with us, other people connected to us because of the children. That's how life moves. That's how things move. So you die, all of us die. I mean, with a little bit satisfaction in your heart, ki life went good, yeah. Acha hua. I just thought of it yesterday because I just felt, what is my connection with GMC? What is my connection? I'll tell you what is my connection. Somebody asked me that, has your alma mater contributed in any way? I said, yes, it has. It has contributed in a very big way. The reason is that in GMC, like I said, I was second in the University of Bombay. I could have gone to KEM, I could have gone to Nair, anywhere. In GMC, the most important thing, at least during our days, was that there was no competition, there was no sibling rivalry. So the amount of energy that you waste in trying to mentally outplay all the games which other colleges are playing with each other is energy saved, energy conserved, and energy focused. I cannot tell you how much of energy gets saved. Everybody around me felt that here is the GM said, great, end of the story. I till today don't know how many other people got how many marks, how many of them are doing better than me, how many of them are doing worse than me. I am focused on my job, they are there. And that spirit of being a GM side has helped me in every way possible. You look at the dedication of people like, say, Undre or Rasik Patel or the Adwadiyas and Noshir Wadia and Singhal and all these guys, Pritam Fatnani, Chhatriwala, who used to teach us anatomy. Unbelievable. Now, very often I have not met them. I have not interacted with Rasik Patel or Undre or anybody ever. But the point is they were focused. So somehow that became a part of my collective unconscious. That you remain focused on whatever you are doing. And you don't waste your energy on what the world is thinking or what society is doing. That has helped me to stay focused on the objective. And people have always come forward and somehow they have helped. GM sites have helped. My classmates have come forward. A guy like Sanjay Dalal, Shivraj Desai, they are in the US, they contributed funds. People come forward. So many of my classmates have contributed. Fatima Varola contributed, Anju Kagal contributed, so many. And it is not that we are mind-blowing friends in our age, just that you are a GM side. In Pune, I was addressing a IMA conference. After MBBS, for the first time, I met my classmate called Sunil Ote. He's a plastic surgeon. He said, can I help you out? I said, yes, you can. Now I send him on WhatsApp all the maggot shots and this and that, and he just gives me the correct advice, yeah. It's as simple as that. There's a senior, Ali Poonawala. He did a cycle, he's a very avid cyclist in Bangalore. He did a cycling thing from Bangalore to Pune. He dedicated it to Shraddha. He dedicated it to Shraddha. Now I didn't tell him. It was from the heart. That is what counts. There's another classmate of my brother, Quresh Bandukala. I met him directly after he had gone. Directly after those days, recently there was a class reunion of my brother and I met him. And he invited me over to the US. And boy, he hosted me and he had multiple talks in the US wherein I was called and he raised funds. It was pure giving. It was not that I requested him also. Not a word. That is giving in true GMC style. That is giving in true GMC style. So you absorb that values and that thing continues. That thing continues. Our teacher, Vasant Talwalkar, 5 years back, he actually came to Karja just to bless the project. He said, Bharat, I have heard you're doing good things. Let me have a look at the project. I said, welcome, sir. That takes you forward. There's nothing actually forcing him to do it. There's nothing forcing him to do it. But he does it. And you feel that, oh boy, there's some joy in giving, and that joy you have got it from being a part of the GMC. This. So there is no question of any, who is doing what and who is doing this and who is doing that. Hemant Kotwal, let me tell you, unbelievable. Out of the blues, again, he was not that close to me in college. Out of the blues, after the award, he called me over to Nasik and he said, let's have a talk. I said, okay. He arranged for the hall. He arranged for the press people to come. He arranged for all the audience. That talk was a big hit. Because of that talk, Indian Medical Association of Nasik called me for a talk. Again, that talk was another big hit. Now that Indian Medical Association is actually thinking of setting up Nasik branch, is actually thinking of setting up a home for wandering mentally ill in Nasik. So imagine the decency of Hemant Kotwal for having organized that talk has reached how far? Now because of COVID, things are very down and that whole matter is stuck. But otherwise, how far has that thing reached? He need not have done it. I never requested him. We are interacting after donkey's years, but he did it. That is giving. Classy GMC style. Classy GMC style. That you don't hesitate. You felt like doing it, you did it. And that thing has continued. That we have seen in generations upon generations. The number of students with Noshir Wadia must have helped out. The number of students with Single must have helped out. The number of students with all the legendary teachers have helped out. Like I told you about Dr. Srikhande, the number of teachers, they've just been going on helping. It's a part of their nature. That nature somehow subconsciously has entered into my psyche also, which I wonder if I had not been in GMC, would it have entered? In third MBBS, I was horrible in medicine. Rajan Garg was not a particularly daily pal of mine, but he took pains. He sorted that he put in effort and I passed. Had I not passed, where would I have been? It was not that, I forced him or something. No, it was from the heart. That is giving typical GMC style. Dr. Bhimani need not have told me that, look boss, I'll get you the DPM seat without giving up your non-medical job. There's nothing forcing him. But he did it. Samne se he did it. That is giving GMC style. Dr. Vasant Joshi, my boss in psychiatry, he said, Bharat, just focus on whatever you're doing. Don't think right, don't think left, which is the typical hallmark, trademark of a GM side. Don't look left, don't look right, just focus on your job. He came all the way at he was pretty old, he came all the way to inaugurate my clinic. He need not have come. So I felt that I'm surrounded by people who are giving without any being pressurized at gunpoint, and it's not that they are really solid pals of mine, but they are giving. Let's continue that giving. Let's continue that giving. I had a guy with a huge wound, this big a wound here, whole thing knocked off. Sanjay Vaidya, my classmate. That patient was from Bangladesh. Sanjay Vaidya, my classmate, plastic surgeon. I told him, look boss, let's do it here, kuch kar yaar. And he did it. Not a single penny charged. He knew the patient was from Bangladesh. He knew that there was no true consent of a relative. I said, kar yaar, chhodna yaar, jo hoga hoga. He did it. in an operation theatre given by somebody else who was also a GM side and who didn't charge me anything. Now, did all these guys receive an award? No. It's just giving because we belong to that culture of GMC which believes in giving. That is the important point. And that culture has to be continued, it has to be sustained. I mean, you just asked me as to what is the this of being a doctor, and people are not that happy. The point is, I feel that I am blessed to be a doctor. I feel all of us are blessed to be medicos. I would have earned 100 times more in any other profession. Let me tell you, if I was in stocks, I would have broken records. I am in a field where I can give. It is my passion, it is your compassion, it is your empathy, it is your thing showing through. Where else will you get this opportunity? What can you do as a chartered accountant? Maximally, you can donate. But as a medical guy, you can actually feel that guy's pain, you can actually have that compassion, you can actually go that one step forward, you can actually treat the diabetes of tribals. That is giving. That is giving. There is an IAS guy in Telangana, Sangram Singh Patil. He is a doctor. He is MBBS, and he has cleared his IAS exam, and right now he is SP, Superintendent of Police in that district. And boy, he treats all those tribals over there. He looks at the medical problems of who will do it. Because you are a doctor, you could do it. So to think narrowly and to think that, oh, my classmate got this and that one got this and that one got this and I didn't get this and that one got highest. And it's very narrow and it's like a frogs living in a small pond. You go beyond. There is nothing pressurizing that IAS guy from doing medicine. He is officially there as the superintendent of police, but he's doing it. That is brilliance. There's another guy in Nandurbar. I mean, these stories I read. He's also another IAS officer. He's a doctor. Rajendra Barud, yeah. Brilliant work. Now, how could you do this? You could do it only because you are a doctor. Because you have felt the pain, you have felt that thing within that opposite guy's soul, that this guy is in this trouble. Let's help him out. How much time does it take to help out? Are you aware of the amount of anemia which is there in tribal areas? Malnutrition which is there? Hypocalcemia which is there? Let's do it. So let's do it. Where else will you get this opportunity? What is the point of having a Mercedes Benz in your house? I don't want to mind anything. So give me at any day, any time. I would choose to become a doctor. No two ways to it. I may be the worst academically qualified doctor. Till today, I don't know the difference between schizophrenia and bipolar. Now I believe there is bipolar 1, bipolar 2, bipolar 3, bipolar 4. So that is besides the point. But you can't get a better choice of a field to do good work. I mean, there is so many opportunities. I remember once, Vikas Amte, this one's Baba Amte's son, yeah. He told me, let's have a camp in Anandman for medical general. I went, we took all the vitamins, around 20,000 worth of vitamins I took and this and that. I was giving them right, left and center. Majority of them had hypoproteinemia, majority of them had hypocalcemia, majority of them had low hemoglobin. 100, 200 patients we must have seen. Majority had all these problems. Yes, I got such a brilliant night's sleep on that particular day. You felt you had done something, yeah, worthwhile. That is the field in which all of you are. You're blessed. You may not acknowledge it today because you're living in that small pond with that thing. You're blessed. For the next 10 generations, I would want to be a doctor. Only this line can give you that job satisfaction. Nothing else can give it.
That's why we feel like you are true legend, sir. Because of this selfless work you have done till date.
I am hoping that why this small talk of ours, which I am hoping that some GM sites will watch. I am hoping that something of this is absorbed by the younger generation of doctors which I see in front of me I mean, you're from first MBBS and somebody's from second MBBS, and I had written a poem long time back when my wife was pregnant. So I had written it for my child. But later on, now that maturity has supervened and one grows, I felt that that poem could be anything between a parent and a child. It could be anything between a teacher and the taught. It could be anything between a guru and a shishya. It could be anything between the privileged and the underprivileged. It could be just about anything. So I just say a few words, whatever I remember, addressing it to the GM side, who I hope may hear this, So the point is, may wisdom be yours to spread, dear GM side. May wisdom be yours to spread when darkness be around you. May truth be yours to communicate when chaos be all around you. May your death in the long run be worth the distance of life's journey borne. May your death in the long run be worth the distance of life's journey borne. And if along the way, dear GM side, if along the way your eyes brim up with tears, then falter not, dear GM side, falter not. For such are the ways that human lives must untwine, and darkest is the hour before the coming of the light. All these words I have for you, all these words and nothing more. No notes, no lectures, no pearls of wisdom do I have for you, dear GM side. For you have never truly exited from my alma mater, and I have never truly renounced your alma mater. And ages to ages, decades on decades, generations upon generations, hearts upon hearts, emotions upon emotions, feelings have remained. That is what counts.